Welcome back from the break. The Africa Center for Energy Policy is calling for the review of the Petroleum Exploration and Production Bill, which, according to them, gives the sector minister excessive discretionary mandate, which can easily be abused. ASEP says the bill is not strong enough to deal with transparency and accountability in the petroleum sector, as the beneficial ownership information is not published under the bill.
Government has laid before Parliament the Petroleum Exploration and Production Bill 2014 for its passage. The Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament has invited public memoranda on the bill, which is to regulate entry and operations in the upstream petroleum sector. The Africa Center for Energy Policy, ASEP, at a forum to discuss the Petroleum Exploration and Production and the Marine Pollution Bills, recommended some changes.
Whilst we provide for open and competitive bidding, the law also grants the minister excessive discretionary mandate, which he can use to even annul or cancel the outcome of competitive bidding process. If you give that blank check to a minister, he may be abused. You may have a saint of a minister who would, use it rightly, but because you don't have one minister over the life of the law, you need to put in place the safeguard mechanisms to ensure that no minister abuses that kind of discretion. The minister to negotiate with people he agrees with, people he likes, and in some instances you have politicians going to register in secret jurisdictions, and they bring back the company into the country and they awarded blocks into themselves. That's why you want to open up the system so that there is greater transparency and accountability. Anybody who is interested in the block has the equal platform and opportunity, to apply for the block. So
ASEP also explains the bill allows secrecy in contracts given under it.
if you don't have a requirement that open up ownership structure of company who want to partake in your industry, again, it allows politicians to play around it, go establish companies and come back to bid for oil blocks, and they win. So what you need to do is to make sure that beneficial ownership information is published, and that is part of the global attempt to solve the issue of corruption and rent-seeking behavior in the oil and gas sector.
There have also been calls for a review of the Marine Pollution Bill, which is equally before Parliament.
When you look at the EMP bill, it gives the Petroleum Commission the authority to sanction and also to function in control of pollution. The Marine Pollution Bill also gives the same or similar jurisdiction for the Ghana Maritime Authority. So this needs to be clarified, and this is a key thing that we are raising. The next point is that the issue of compensation is not clear as to who gets what, especially under the various levels of compensation. One is a compensation for loss of access to livelihoods of fishermen, and the other is compensation where pollution occurs. And the bill does not specify what exact mechanism could be put in place to pay compensation to who.
ASEP has meanwhile applauded the bill and its position on ensuring open competitive bidding and publishing of oil contracts awarded.
I have with me in studio Solomon Kwaukume. He is Senior Research Officer on Oil and Gas, Ghana Institute of Governance and Security. You're welcome, Solomon.
Thank you.
Right, I have been going through your comments to the bill, and you seem to have a lot of problem. Your main concern here is that there's too much excessive mandatory power to the Ministry of you tell me about that. What exactly is your problem?
Yeah, our problem is we totally agree with the African Center for Energy and that is ASEP.
ASEP, okay.
We totally agree with them for a review of certain portions of the bill. We have also noticed that the bill has given too much discretionary powers to the minister. All the views expressed by my good friend Ben Boachi, we are in agreement. We at Ghana Institute of Governance and Security are in total agreement with them that the powers given to the minister is just too much under this
When
bill.
you talk about the minister, is it the particular minister in post here or to an energy minister?
Energy minister,
any energy minister
today
at all?
or tomorrow or next tomorrow,
Okay.
who will be occupying that position.
What are some of the discretionary mandates, mandatory he's been given?
Some of it is, now the bill allows for open competitive bidding. Now, open competitive bidding is, the block is advertised, people, prospective companies put in their bid. The bid is open in the public or in the close with representatives of all the companies involved. Then whoever puts in the best bid wins the contract. But here is a situation that the bill has given that power to the minister to ignore.
What exactly does the bill say that makes it look like the minister has the power to decide?
Yeah, probably let's look at.
Okay.
Let's see. I have not opened that.
And some portions of the bill also say that GNPC has been given the sole exploration right. And so if this has to change, it definitely has to, only companies which had the mandatory, the opportunity to drill are those ones that were set up before this law was passed.
Yeah, before the introduction of this bill, there are two main statutes which govern the upstream industry.
If you could be talking and be looking for...
PNDC Law 64, and then Law 84 is the exploration bill.
Okay.
These two bills gives GNPC the sole rights for exploration or to engage in petroleum activities in conjunction or with the assistance of a contractor.
A local contractor, or it doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter whether it's foreign or local.
Okay.
If GNPC cannot do the work alone, it can seek for assistance of a contractor who should come and assist GNPC in carrying out its activities. Now, this new bill is taking away, if this bill is passed into law, it is taking away all those rights from GNPC.
And would that be a breach of the law?
Yes. Currently, what has happened is a breach of these two laws. It's a breach of these two laws.
But it's before Parliament, and so where does the breach come in when it's gone back to Parliament?
No, these are the old laws governing the industry.
Okay.
Before the introduction of
this new bill.
This is a completely new law to come into effect, different from this.
Okay.
This is modeled on what we call a modern concession. This is bill, the contents of these two bills has the spirit and intent to implement or a fiscal regime called production sharing agreement.
But don't you think this bill is based on improving what is in that bill, the old bill?
No.
So because we are advancing as a world, and so as a country, we must also move along. So don't you think if we're going to stick to the old law, we'll be marking time, we're not really
my good
going
lady, daughter, this bill is superior in terms of physical regime or arrangement, which is currently in the world.
Okay.
We have about 81 countries in the world who are producing their oil and gas under this system. Now, how many countries are in the world producing under modern concession in today's 21st century, harnessing their oil and gas under a concession? You cannot find any anymore. Most of the 81 countries in the world who are producing on production sharing agreement move away from what we Ghanaians want to do now. I have their list here. It's a long list. 81 countries in all, 34 in Africa.
Okay.
34, and including Eastern Europe, Middle East, they are all producing under production share, which is the progressive and fairer mode of producing oil now in the world. And then it gives a very fair way of sharing the petroleum revenue. So this bill, honestly, Ghanaians, if this bill is passed, it is a death sentence on our economic
so I'll
independence.
quickly take a few of your comments here as your sentiments against the new bill. So you say the two laws, that is the production sharing agreement and the production studies records available at the Oxford, that's what you state here, Oxford Institute of Energy Studies, indicates that earlier agreements entered into by Ghana in the 1990s based on these laws was a production sharing agreement, but all agreements and contracts entered into from the NPP administration to the current NDC administration and approved by Parliament, that's our lawmakers, are modeled to suit modern concession laws which are not in existence on our state's books at the time of signing these agreements and contracts. What this basically is driving at is that these agreements and contracts are therefore not compatible and in conformity with the tenets of the existing two laws. In our layman legal opinion, these agreements and contracts are illegal and unconstitutional because they are at variance with the existing PNDC law. Is that what exactly the problem is? So what is the way forward?
Yeah, the way forward is we have written to various stakeholders in this country.
Okay.
We have written to the President, the Council of State, the Christian Council, the Bishop Conference, the National House of Chiefs, some prominent personalities in this country, to impress upon government that the way we are going is not the best for this country.
The Council of State, don't we have people in there who really understand that if this new law is passed, it will definitely be an attempt to give retrospective legal backing to these agreements, and obviously, like you say, we would have thrown away what our value as a country is part of our country. You think there's too much being given away in this new bill? Don't we have representatives on the Committee on Council of State who really should understand the implications of this new bill?
Yeah, we have made an attempt to talk to them. When we approached them, they even told us they didn't have a copy of the bill.
I see.
We have to make it available to them, same as the National House of Chiefs. The question of whether they have technical experts. Now, oil issues are very, very complicated. You need somebody to direct you. And we've all along been expecting them to call us to explain issues to them. They've not yet responded to our appeal to them. Now, I will give you just a few examples in terms of figures. Now, I'll give to this as at 30th September 2014.
Please make it very brief for us.
Yeah, about 114 million barrels of oil has so far been produced and exported from this country.
Okay.
The value of it is $12.51 billion. Under the current dispensation, what we want to codify into law gave Ghana $2.557 billion worth, representing 20.50% of the total.
Of the total.
Then the foreign oil companies had to their credit $9.95 billion.
Representing what percentage?
Representing 97.50%.
And that is what is contained in this bill.
Yeah, so if Parliament passes this bill, that will be the position will be.
We'll have little of our own resources,
our own resources,
and the foreign countries will have more of our
resources,
indirect way of modern-day slavery.
Yeah, modern, correct. That is the word for it. Now, everything that we are doing in the country is contrary to
the 1962 General Assembly resolution on permanent sovereignty over natural resources.
Yes. Everything we are doing in this country as a nation is contrary to this UN resolution, where we are just giving out. We have.
But why would government, even in the first place, decide to do such a thing?
My sister, my daughter, I cannot tell. Probably government is not properly advised.
Or could it be that there are some personal interest in this, personal gains in there, that is motivational enough to make them overlook implications, future implications?
Absolutely correct.
Is that what you feel?
That's what we feel, that there are personal gains is overshadowing what is due to this nation as a whole.
Okay, right. So we'll say thank you to you and wish you all the best. We'll all join in the fight to ensure that our country is kept safe. So we have been talking to Solomon. He has been helping us through what their concerns are concerning the exploration and gas bill yet to be passed in Parliament. According to them, it will be given off too much of the country, and so they hope that government takes a second look at that and make sure our natural resources are well preserved and belong to us.